News that matters. Fox 40 News starts now.
We begin here at 4 o'clock with a crime that rattled a Woodland community. 2 teenagers murdered, and shortly after, 4 men were arrested. Today, nearly 2 years after the teens were killed, opening statements in the trial for one of the suspects, David Froste, got underway. Thanks for watching at 4. I'm Nikki Lorenzo. Eric Harriman is on assignment. Now, despite several search efforts, investigators still have not been able to find the bodies of Enrique Rios and Elijah Moore. 16-year-old Enrique Rios went missing on October 17, 2016. His mother said she last saw him at their Esparto home, and he vanished the next morning. 3 weeks later, his friend, 17-year-old Elijah Moore, went missing. Surveillance cameras captured Moore cashing a check in Woodland. And just recently, one of the 4 suspects, Jonathan Froste, broke his silence and gave a detailed confession about his role in the murders. Froste agreed to help prosecutors find the teens' bodies and also agreed to testify against his co-defendants. Froste told the Davis Enterprise it was his brother, David Froste, as well as Chandel Shannon and Jesus Campos, who allegedly beat Elijah Moore to death and shot Enrique Rios. Well, today, the trial, as we said, began for David Froste, the man investigators say played a key role in one of the deaths of the 2 teens. Fox 40's Doug Johnson was in court today, and he joins us now in the newsroom with what was said during opening statements. Doug.
Nikki, the question of this trial is going to be who was the ringleader in the plot to kill those 2 teenage boys. Now, prosecutors are claiming it's David Froste, but his attorneys are making the argument it was really his brother Jonathan. Meanwhile, the victim's family say it's difficult to hear all the details played out in the courtroom.
As David Froste will tell Elijah, this is where your friend's buried. You're going to be buried right next to him.
Prosecutors with the Yolo County District Attorney's Office used their opening arguments to detail how David Froste was giving the orders the night 16-year-old Enrique Rios was killed, claiming he ultimately pulled the trigger, leading to the teen's death when Rios refused to help them find 17-year-old Elijah Moore.
David's going to ask him again, give up Elijah. Help us find him. Help us get him out here. Enrique's going to say no. He's going to turn and run down towards the river, at which point David Froste is going to unload and shoot at Enrique as he is running away.
17 days later, on November 4th, 2016, prosecutors again painted Froste as the ringleader, as he, his brother Jonathan Froste, and 2 others took turns beating Elijah Moore to death with sticks. Prosecutors say David Froste dropped a log on Moore's head, which was the final fatal strike.
Raises it up and crushes his skull.
It was testimony Moore's mother, Alicia Moore, says was just too difficult to hear, as she left the courtroom early in tears.
It's too painful to sit and hear how they did him.
During the opening arguments, Moore's aunt, Robin Trail, says Froste showed little remorse.
You can look straight through and you see nothing, you see no emotions, you see nothing.
However, Froste's attorney says police were too quick to single out her client as the leader of the group, and that the other 3 suspects also had motives.
But that doesn't work for the prosecution story. They need to have a ringleader. That ringleader, you'll see, was picked by law enforcement agents very early on.
David Froste has been incarcerated on unrelated drug charges since January of 2017, giving his co-defendants time to change their stories, according to his attorney. However, both Trail and Moore say they have little doubt who is in charge, saying they believe this defense strategy simply won't work.
It's painful because we know, everybody knows who the ringleader is. You know, everybody can see who the most evil of the 4 is.
David Froste will be back in court on Tuesday. Again, his attorney is making the claim that it was his brother, Jonathan Froste, who was actually the ringleader. Jonathan Froste ultimately did turn on his brother and the other defendants, and he will testify against his brother in the weeks to come. In our newsroom, Doug Johnson, Fox 40 News.
Doug, thank you.